Okay, we're going to talk about sort of the architecture of the sentence that has a strong analytical voice. And here's an exercise where we have just a short passage from Hamlet here, and we're going to create a series of sentences inserting our associative voice. And this is the end goal. If we take a look at, in bold, I place the associations, and the evidence is highlighted in yellow. And you can see that they're often wrapping around. Hamlet responds despondently, even that simple adverb is associative to his father's mysterious death, and seeks his own demise. Okay? And so then I'm ready to move into some quoted material that supports these associations, that a solid flush would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. And then I'm going to continue making some associations, a water image not intended for its typical cleansing power. Okay, so we've got more associations there. And his own morality recognizes that self-slaughter, okay, provides no relief from a world marked by futility. So again, in the bold, we have more associations. One weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable. What remains is a life surrounded in decay, living in an unweeded garden, entrapped by a sense of life, not by a sense of life, but rather things rank and gross in nature. That reckless vegetation, we just have a single associative adjective there, possess, should be possesses. Yeah. The garden hints at some tyrannical atmosphere which Hamlet cannot break free. Okay, so we're sort of entrapped here. So this is the end goal. The question is, how did that occur? So that's what we're going to take a look at. So, first we have the passage, and this is what happened initially. And we took a look at this first line, wants to melt, okay, and thaw, and resolve itself into dew. So this is pretty suicidal, pretty despondent, okay, depressed in a sense of despair. What's interesting here is this is an image of water, but it's not for cleansing. It's not a baptismal type of image. The archetype is not working that way. It's working in a sort of negative sense. And then as we move o'er that everlasting, we've got a reference to God here, had not fixed his canon, his laws. So God against self-slaughter. So here he understands that morality prevents him from committing suicide. And instead, he has to live in this particular world. It's stale, it's weary, it's flat. And this seems rather futile, that nothing can happen. It's useless, is what seems to be coming out of these two lines. Then we move into another image, and it's the image of this unweeded garden, which seems sort of kind of out of control, maybe reckless. There are no boundaries, okay, that grows to seed, and there are vile sort of there's a vile growth there, things that are rank and gross, sort of distorted, certainly unideal, the unideal garden image. And this is interesting too, possess. It seems almost like some sort of, so the rank and the gross vegetation possess, or sort of control, sort of tyranny almost, that traps anyone inside. And here Hamlet is considering that this is what the world is like, sort of enslaved in this state of despair. So we've created all these associations, and now what do we do next? Well, if we take a look at this handout, we're going to really break this process down. And so I'm going to, just for each, to build each sentence, I'm going to list some of the associations I made on the previous chunk. I'm just going to list them here. And so I had used despondent. Okay. And then he seeks his own demise with that image of suicide. And then I also noted sort of the water image is not cleansing. Okay. And I anchored all of that on the quotation that began with solid flesh would melt. Okay. Itself into dew is what it ended up with. Okay? So what I want to do now is to start moving some of these sentences, these words, literally, into some of these boxes. And so I'm going to first kind of sort of maybe pull despondent. I might stick up here in this box. And I also might, he's despondent because he seeks his own death. Okay. And obviously this is about Hamlet. Okay, and I'm going to need a verb here. I've got a verb here, despondent. So I'm just right now kind of putting some words in the order that they might appear in the sentence. So I haven't really finished writing the sentence. So now, and remember that this is that topic string area that we want to place some associations in. Okay, so then I'm about ready. I have some of these words here. I'm going to have to fill it in. But for now, I kind of have some idea. I'm going to talk about despondent, seeks his demise. And now I'm ready to move some of the quoted material in here. So I'm going to pull that down into these boxes. So basically, I'm just sort of slowly building my sentence. So maybe that's the last, however long the quotation is. And now I want to see if I can, this is due, and I noticed that in my brainstorming, I made this comment about the due. So I'm going to pull that down, all the way down to here. So the water not cleansing. Okay? So what I have now is sort of the basic building blocks, or at least the order. I pulled some of those words into a single sentence. Okay? And I'm going to do the same type of thing. I'm going to pull the next part of some more associations for another sentence, so that, okay. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not writing the sentence yet, but I know that I was quoting, or I put some associations by that part of that quotation, self-slaughter. I wanted to use that. And I also made some associations with the quotation where it has weary and stale and flat. Okay? And the associations I made with these, there was a sense of he understands morality, because you can't supposed to commit suicide, and that I was associating these phrases with the idea of futility. It's not worth anything. I think I had some other, let's see, yeah, mostly futile I put there. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to build my sentence with. So, we could just go in the order of this. So this has something to do with morality. So we'll build a sentence. We're going to obviously have to put some words around that. And that this is anchored. We're going to put self-slaughter next. We're going to quote that. And then we might be ready to pull down this futility, because these are some associations. And we are going to then, after futility, we don't have boxes on this, we're going to just pull down, stick those words there. Weary, so we're at weary, stale, flat. Okay. So here we've got sort of the basic structure then of the sentence. Another sentence. Basically, I could do the same thing with the remaining pieces of evidence that I was making associations with. So I could build sentences off of this garden image here, because that seemed to be significant, the rank and gross in nature. I might build a sentence again with that, or a sentence might use some of these details. I might have a separate sentence just to deal with this one word, which occurred in the actual example. Okay. Hope that helps.